Hello, everyone. Welcome to Drinks with Dempsey. I'm your host, Dempsey, trying to figure out how I want to wear my hat today. Backwards, forwards, I can't decide. It's difficult decision. Should I switch hats? I don't even know. I don't know if I should, wear something different, or should I stick with this one? It's hard to know. What I do know is that this is like a moment, like Mr. Rogers' moment, for me, because I love getting to see my neighbors like you guys. And so it's good to see you guys. Hello, Annette and Aaron. You wish you could post what I'm drinking with. What do you mean you wish you could post what you're drinking with? That's a good question. I mean, a good statement. It's good to see you, Kathy. Hello from California Burn. Please tell me you're not around the burning area. I was in Idaho last weekend, and there were a lot of people up there that were moving there from California. They were driving the real estate prices through the roof. It was kind of crazy. Montana will be next, and probably Utah. Post a picture of what I'm drinking with you. Oh. Yeah. Well, I didn't know that wasn't an option, actually. That's interesting. Maybe you can do it after the show. Maybe it'll post. That would be a fun little Facebook post to I'll put it up afterwards where we say, hey, post what you were drinking. I've got my usual half sweet, half unsweet tea. Just the right amount of sweetness. Hello, Doreen. Hello, Dean and Angela Reed. Is it both or just one of you? Taxco de Alarcón, Guerrero, Mexico. Taxco de Alarcón, Guerrero, Mexico. That is a mouthful. Are you guys expats, living down there now, or are you just visiting? Because that sounds cool. And it's both of you. Excellent. So I have been talking to people about that, about relocating down there. What's up, Kevin? Kathy says she's right between the biggest fires. My breathing problems are very bad. We aren't in any danger of losing your home. That's good. But smoke and ash everywhere. Ugh. A couple years back, man, it was what was that? 3 years ago, we had the bad fires here. Bunch of Gatlinburg got burned, and it was so dry here. It was November, I think, because we were going on our November vacation, and it was smoke everywhere. I've never seen anything like it. It was crazy. But we didn't have the ash though. There was no ash. There was just hazy smoke everywhere. It was hard to breathe outside. It was crazy. And we went to Florida and then came back a week later, and it was all gone. It had rained. It was a drought, though. It was bad news. So you have lived there for the last 3 years. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up right now while I'm sitting here, because that name, I've got to look up that place where it is. Taxco de Alarcón. Oh yeah, there it is. I'm looking it up right now. And there's a pretty church there. Very cool. Oh wow, yeah, you're up in a mountain right there, and lots of hills and more mountains. Awesome. Whoa, that is beautiful. Now I wish I could share these pictures about where you guys are living. That's really cool. Yeah, my friend Russell Blake has been by the way, his Facebook posts are not for the faint of heart. So if you follow Russell or are friends with him, you know what I'm talking about. But that being said, Russell is a friend, and I trust his advice on a lot of things. And we've been talking about, because he lives in Mexico. He's lived in Mexico for about 16 years, and what it would look like to relocate there and all that. Because I know a lot of Americans are kind of like, what about the cartels? Partly due to people like me who write stories about the cartels. It's my fault. But no, they it's just like anywhere else. There's certain places where you don't go, right? And I'm assuming Taxco de Alarcón in Guerrero, Mexico is not one of those places. I'm assuming it's safe and awesome because it looks amazing. Aaron, yeah, good deal. Let's do that. I'll put up a post. Let me do that right now while I'm sitting here with you guys. So today's special guest is one of my favorite writers. I'm just going to go ahead and introduce him. I've never actually read any of his work. But he's a nice guy. He really cares about his fans. And so much so that he multitasks for them that's the wrong button. While he's doing a live show, he gets on to his page and posts pictures, or posts a post so you can share your pictures. I wonder if I can even do this or if it'll cut me off. It's not cutting me off yet. I still see you guys. Here we go. Post a picture. What your put a smiley face on there. Well, I tried. Posted. There you go. Done. So yeah, today's special guest is me. I'm not that special. And it's true. I've never read one of my books, but most of you know that. I don't have anybody else on today, partly because we're launching all of those books from the Dak Harper origin story today. So if you've seen your email, if you're on the newsletter, the VIP newsletter, or maybe you saw the post or in the Facebook page, the Dak Harper Relic Runner origin story is now live. It's there. It's on Amazon, and I am still waiting for them to get back to me about the paperbacks. Let's see if that has changed, that status. Nope, still in review. Taking their sweet time. I hope it's fixed. What a pain that's been. I'm sorry for all you paperback lovers. I can relate. Normally the paperbacks are out like 3 days before the ebooks. So anyway, hey Callum, it's good to see you. And I see Michelle is here. It's good to see you. Kathy's drinking her Diet Dr. Pepper. Aaron, half of Colorado's on fire? Oh, I'm sorry, man. I love Colorado, as you can tell. It's one of my favorite states. There were some fires down south of where I was in Idaho last week. That is the one downside of those places. It's so pretty and there's almost no humidity, but that humidity is the lack thereof is a telling sign. It should be a warning to many, many folks. We don't get a ton of those bad forest fires down here because it rains so much and it's so humid. Everything's damp most of the time. We get them now and then. So I hope you guys are all right where you are with those fires. And I will definitely be praying about that on your behalf. That's right. I pray. So Dean and Angela Reed. I want to know which one of you is typing Dean and Angela Reed. Yes, please. We live in Landa outside of Taxco in the forest. Ooh, it's a lot like North Carolina. Yes, I'm actually going to be driving over to North Carolina tomorrow. into the mountains near Robbinsville. You probably know that area. Robbinsville, Andrews, that area, close to Cherokee National Forest and all that. Not probably going up the Cherahela Skyway tomorrow, but I have ridden my motorcycle on it a few times when I had one, and I've driven up it many to go camping. Given serious thought to relocating to Mexico myself. Yeah, Kathy, it's interesting. I've met lots and lots of expats that have moved there, and they it's really interesting. What I'm hearing and what I see and hear from all of those people is there's less push for material things, and people don't feel like they have this need to like have all these things, because they have the things that matter, which is like sense of community, family, friends, stuff like that. And I've seen it, like where I worked in Dalton, Georgia, most of my, like both the schools I worked in were majority Mexican kids. There were some Guatemalan kids and like one kid from Colombia that I had he was hilarious, but most of them were Mexican kids or of Mexican descent. And it was a pain in the butt when you had to schedule a parent conference, because their culture is not about being on time. So like they're going with their own time zone, which is it's fine in their culture. Like everybody does that. You stop and you talk to a friend for 30 minutes, whether you have an appointment or not. And here we're like no, you must be here on time, which admittedly, when I've been at the school all day long, I just wanted to get home. So like, where's my 3:30? I've been here all day. Let's go. But down there, I love that. I love that concept. I mean, we could use a little more of that here, probably. Just take it easy. But the thing that I love the most, Dean and Angela Reed, and I want to know what you love the most about living in Mexico. The thing that I love the most about that culture is the siesta, because I have, for my entire life, always needed a nap right after lunch. Now, I know that they're not always right after lunch, right? It's like 4 p.m. Maybe I just eat a later lunch then. But like, without fail, after I eat lunch, it's not like other meals. It's always lunch. It doesn't matter if it's low carb, if it's all vegetables, if it's all protein or mixed, balanced, whatever. I need a nap after lunch. And I don't know why that is, but I've not always been able to take one. Did I, on occasion, turn off the lights in my office at the school after I, ate a quick lunch and lay down under my desk because I was desperately fatigued? Maybe. That might have happened a few times. But I figured, teachers get like an hour for lunch or 30 minutes for lunch or whatever. I guess they got like 30 or 40 minutes. I don't remember. But we didn't get any time. Like, kids could come in and see us while we were eating, us counselors. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to square away this 15, 20 minutes. I'm going to eat fast, and then I'm going to lay down. Did I do that? Maybe. Yes, I did. Not ashamed of it. Oh, looky here. Oh, so, wow, I've skipped too many. I got to go back. Too many. Wow, there's so many comments, and there's 18,000 people watching this live right now. Guys, it's amazing. Thank you for sharing the show with so many people. Okay. You've lived there for the past 3 years. I'm seeing Callum's message. I already answered that one. Okay, here's where I am. I don't know why it scrolled down so fast. You don't bother them, and they don't bother you. That's what I wanted to hear. He's talking about the cartels. Shout to Jimmy Seville for sending me your link. You're welcome. Okay. Good one, Jimmy. Thank you. Unless that's a scam. Oh, no. We're going to get a whole bunch of weird comments. Sometimes we get those on live shows. Sweet. Cool t-shirt. Thank you. Yes. Finally saw Pearl Jam a few years ago live. It was good times. I should come to Scotland. You're right. Thank you, Dougie, by the way. I appreciate that. And thank you, Callum. I need to come to Scotland. I've never been there. I've never been to Ireland either. And like my Dempsey's Irish, and I've got the kilts and everything. I wear them to soccer games here, football games, football matches, as you guys would say. But yeah, I've never been, and I really want to go. I had a free trip. I think I talked about this once before. I had a free trip paid for by the orchestra, or not paid for, but paid for by a private family I worked for here in town, to go with the orchestra from my university. But I wasn't in the orchestra, and they're like, hey, is it cool if this guy goes, works for us, we'll pay for his trip? And the conductor was like, yeah, sure. And then he was like, hey, I looked, that guy's not in the orchestra. First of all, how do you not know I'm not in the orchestra? I mean, I know there's like 80 kids, but still. So he said, no, I couldn't go. Heart was broken. I was like, dude, I will be a roadie. I will carry all the heavy equipment. I've done that before. I was in a rock band. No dice. No dice, Dempsey. So that was my shot at Ireland. And now it's going to be at least 7 more years before I get a chance to go over there. Maybe 4. But when I go to Ireland, I might as well hit Scotland. I was going to go to England actually this year. I was going to head over there to the UK, and then I was going to go to England for a couple days and then pop up to Scotland, and then it just didn't work out because of COVID. But your book downloaded at 12:30 a.m. this morning, as it should have. I'm so glad. The paperbacks didn't download yet, unfortunately, but they will. Well, there's Jim Motts. It's good to see you again. And I'm back on Eastern time, but I don't know. I might fly back out to Idaho in a couple of weeks. Take another look around out there. Why? Why is Dempsey going to Idaho so much? What's he doing out there? I don't know. Ernest, give us a shout and we can fill you in on the places we have lived. Wakaka, Taxco, Guanajuato. Oh, Guanajuato. That's where the mummies are, right? I had some kids from there. I had some students from there. They brought, one of them went back one year. She went back down there to see her family and came back with a bunch of little trinkets for me with the mummies. I think that's where that is, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. It's okay. It's Angela and Dean is listening. Got it. Thank you. Trying to catch up on these comments. Hello, Juliet. Good morning in Australia. That means that my editor, Ann, is awake. My editor, Jason, in Las Vegas is probably just now waking up too. Because he's a rock star. He keeps such stupid hours. That guy, I think he works till like 3 or 4 in the morning working on people's books. Great guy. He is taking a break from writing right now. Okay. All right. That's cool. Respect. You're very welcome, Kathy. Happy to do it. Yeah. No, I get it. Especially with the breathing problems. I have some asthma stuff. So Dean and Angela said you love that area over in Robbinsville. Love the area near Cherokee and Maggie Valley. Absolutely. Yeah. Of course, it's nice, that Cherokee's only like 40 minutes away from there. If I want to throw some cards, play a little poker. I do that now and then. All right, let's see. I don't know if I'm liking this lighting. Maybe it's too bright. Then it gets grainy when I turn it down. Jonathan's here. It's good to see you, Jonathan. Mexico time, so true. Yes. Oh, no, it skipped down too far again. Oh, there we go. I don't know why it does that. Callum said we have clean, fresh air there in Scotland. Well, that is true. You do have that. Hello, Jason in Texas. First time on one of the talks. Yes, cheers. I think we have a few newbies in here. I'm glad to have you guys along. Normally, I have a guest with me, But today's a launch day, so I'm just kind of hanging out with you guys. It might be an abbreviated session too. I don't know. I talk too much. Most of you know that. So I'm glad you're on board, man. Welcome aboard. What part of Texas are you from? It's a big state, so you might say one place that I don't know. There's a lot of places I don't know out there, but so Mexico's, yeah, where you are is laid back and much less stress. That sounds good. Sleeping in the afternoon is a throwback to childhood. Yes, Callum, that's exactly it. I think that's why I need those naps all the time. Dean says his favorite, I'm going to paraphrase, Mexican custom is mañana, putting things off until mañana. The second is siesta. Those are two of my favorite things too. Procrastination and naps. And it's amazing how the two go so well in hand. Go so well hand in hand. They're like peas and carrots. That sounded like Bill Clinton, not Forrest Gump. Although, wait a minute. Are they the same? That's a scam. Okay, yeah, I thought maybe it was. I'll be careful about the scams. I gotta be vigilant about those. We had like 2 or 3 have tried to pop in and do little scam things on here, and you just have to ignore them, and then they go away. Your favorite is having less stress. It's so different from the stress of life in the USA. Yeah. I hear that. Annette says I do the afternoon nap thing most days. Don't work or don't always sleep. Just need some quiet time after work. Yeah. I hear you. The only problem with me in naps is when I lay down to try to take like a quick 20, I feel like, no, like, Ernie, you got to get back and write that story. And so it's hard to shut the brain down. So then I just lay there for 15 minutes. It's like I just took a 15-minute break. Even when I drink coffee or whatever, I still need it. Strange. You got your book yesterday morning, Doreen? Man, time traveler. Amazing. Oh, Sam Nosh. It's good to see you. I know I've missed you too the last couple of weeks, but it was good to see my brother. It was good to see my buddy Greg out in Idaho, and it's cool. No mummies are in Guanajuato. So gross. So gross. That's funny. I like how you guys say hi to each other in the comments. It's great. Dallas, Jason. Okay, welcome. Welcome from Dallas. I do know Dallas. I've been there once or twice. So my mother was from San Antonio and lived a little bit in Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then moved to Lake Charles, Louisiana, which is no bueno right now. And I hope our friend Kat is okay. I am not sure where she is in relation to where the hurricane hit. So I need to reach out to her, in fact, because I know that she's down there somewhere in Louisiana. And so I hope she's okay and all of her ducks are okay. She's a big fan and a wonderful person. And so, yeah, I hope everybody down there in Louisiana is recovering and okay. I saw some of the pictures from that hurricane, and I see that she's not on this feed. So normally she's one of the first ones to say something. So hopefully she evacuated and got somewhere safe. I know some friends of mine in Lake Charles, it was like primary target for that hurricane. They went all the way to Kentucky, and there's still, like, the way it's tracking, they're still going to get the storm. It's going to be mostly rain and wind, but still strange to see it track like that. I guess it's backwards this way. Sam, I have missed these and everybody hanging out. Oh, Michelle, you guys are so sweet. And I see there's 23,000 people watching this show right now. That's amazing. Just 23,000 people sitting around watching me talk. You're taking a note of this, right? 23,000. She's not even paying attention. Probably because she's a cat. My cat books all the interviews, but we didn't book an interview today because we're launching a book. So, like 5 books, really. I mean, it's the continuation of the Dak Harper, the Relic runner. Boy, I'm so excited, by the way. I'm working on Sean Wyatt 20 right now, the milestone protocol. I'm hoping that it's not too slow because I'm already like 40,000 words deep into it. And I'm like, man, normally that would be almost halfway done, but it's going to be a pretty long book. And I'm like, hope it's not too slow. I hope the pace is good, but there's a lot of build up to this one. So it may be a little bit more of a like slow burn initially, and then it starts steamrolling later. We'll see what you think, but I hope that you enjoy it. But after that, I'm hoping to get that one out here in the fall, like late fall before winter. And then Dak Harper will have a full-length book right on the tails of that. I haven't been able to get together with Chandler much lately to do the Adventure Guild stuff. He's back in school down at his boarding school in Calhoun, Georgia. So he's a resident assistant this year. Let that sink in. He's a senior. I can't believe he's a senior. Chandler, I started working with him as a writer when he was in 8th grade, and now he's a senior. And now I feel even older. Good times. Victoria Littlejohn, hello. I just booked my flight to Tampa yesterday. I will be down there at St. Pete Beach next month, September 22 through 26. If I can see the itinerary for that conference before I get down there, and I'll try to see it. It's changing every day because people are canceling and then signing up. If you guys would like to hang out and the Tampa folks would like to get a cup of coffee or something, maybe I could bring a couple of other authors with me because I can't imagine it's going to be super busy. There's like 10% of the people who go are going this year. It's much reduced because of the pandemic. But hello, Paige. It's good to see you. Ernie, if you haven't read the book sequel to Forrest Gump, I recommend it. Okay. I will check that out. That sounds really good. I love that movie. I cannot believe it was that long ago when that movie came out. I remember going to the theater and seeing it. It was like 25, 26 years ago. Good grief. Same with Pulp Fiction. I'm curious about your research for your books, Jason Dodson asked. Do you go to the places to get details or via internet? How does that work for you? So Neil Gaiman believes that you shouldn't write about a place unless you've visited that place, right? And I think that's a cool concept. If you've been given an advance, like a 7-figure advance to write, an 800-page novel. I am not ripping on Mr. Gaiman at all. I go to, so the answer is a little of all of that, right? I go to some of the places. So like I said earlier, I have not been to Ireland or Scotland. I did include a little bit of the UK in 1 or 2 books, or more, probably like 3 or 4 books. I have actually never been to the UK. And part of that is because my travel budget has been limited up until the last few years. When I was a high school guidance counselor, my take home was like a little over $2,000 a month. And so that covered bills and whatever. People are like, why do you talk about money? Don't tell people how much money you made. I don't care. That's the reality of it. Public school educators are, we're not super well paid. We're not we weren't terribly paid because we worked like 10 months out of the year. If we worked 12 months, we probably would have made more. But that's what I made, and so it didn't leave a whole lot for a travel budget. In fact, I remember I was going on a ski trip with some friends up to West Virginia, and I went to check my account, and it was all gone. And I was renting a house with two friends, and like I didn't have that many expenses, and it was end of the month, and I was already tapped out. And so like I just didn't have a whole lot to work with on the travel budget. And fortunately, through the years, I've been blessed with people who are really generous around me. My parents, number one, who sent my brother and I to Europe in 1994. I don't know how they did it. They didn't have any money, and they sent the two of us over there, and we got to see Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and Italy, and we were there for about 2 weeks with a group from the school. Saw a lot of neat stuff, very impactful. And then I went back 10 years later with a group from Dalton High School where I worked. I went with a German exchange trip. The German teacher wanted to take a counselor with them in case any of the kids had trouble, dealing with being gone or whatever for 3 weeks. And so I went, and it was amazing. A lot of I had to pay for like the plane ticket, I think, and then some meals while I was there, but it was really great. I was very blessed to be able to do that, and I actually got to live there in Germany for 3 weeks. I say I lived there, but I mean, I wasn't hitting lots of different countries. I was just there in this little village in the mountains that was very much like East Tennessee, Western North Carolina, and it was awesome. And so those are some of the kind of things I've been able to do travel wise. I did go to Denmark for about 2 weeks 11 years ago, which was awesome. It was really, really cool. I love the people there. And I've been across the border in Mexico and Canada, but I was a kid when that happened. So I don't really remember a whole lot about that. It was back in the 80s. And then, let's see, where else have I been? You didn't ask where all I'd been. I have traveled quite a bit in the States, driving and flying, but not internationally. I think I've only been international 4 or 5 times. Went to Greece last year. I took my wife to see Florence and the Machine at the Acropolis Amphitheater, the I can't remember what it's called, Herodion Atticus or whatever it's called, for our anniversary. So I was in Greece for 5 days last year. But other than that, the budget was the problem, and now the problem is I don't want to take my 5-year-old all over the world yet, or I don't want to, or I don't want to leave, dip out and leave them, her and my wife here alone, because I miss my kid misses daddy and I miss her, and so it's kind of tricky. I do go to that conference in St. Pete Beach because it's work, and it's how I can improve what I do for you guys, but I don't get to travel a whole lot. So that's the long 15-minute answer to your question, Jason. I do travel some. I do some of the research in person, especially here in the States. And for the international stuff, I call on my memory to recall things that I've seen while I was over there, wherever over there is. If it's, Paris or Denmark, I was in France for like a day. Wherever I was, I used my memory for the things that I saw and the way it smelled and impacted me. But there's a lot more travel I want to do. I do a lot of internet research, obviously, and then I have books that I use, and some of those books are really old. Some of those books I've had, since I was a kid. When my grandfather passed in 1985, I grabbed some of his books that were like about ancient treasures and ancient mysteries, and I was only like 9 years old when that happened. And but it was books that I had a really deep interest in. So even at 9 years old, I was really interested in writing these kinds of stories. So it's a hybrid of all three. Hopefully going forward in the future, I'll be able to do more travel so that I can write even more accurately for you guys. I know one lady was upset at me. I don't even know if she reads my stuff anymore because she was so upset. She was like a gung-ho fan, and then she got upset at me because I didn't describe Fredericksburg, Virginia correctly. And I said, well, it's been about 25, 30 years since I've been there and to Williamsburg and all that. And so I was trying to go for memory and images on the internet, and it just didn't work for her. And she was from there, and I was like, I can change it. Like but I mean, I don't do that stuff lightly. Like I dig in really deep with my research. And so I don't know. You make mistakes sometimes, I guess. I still question if it was a mistake because I went through Fredericksburg last year. So like, I was looking at it and I'm like, I was not that off. So, anyway. Oh, okay. You're an hour. Annette's in Sarasota. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, because we've talked about that. My wife loves Sarasota. Yeah, I will definitely tell Kat, Michelle, that you guys are thinking about her. Hi, Marva. And it's too hot. Yeah, it's not that hot up here. That's another thing. When I was in Idaho last week, it was a little warm, but I texted my buddy yesterday up there and I said, how hot is it now? And he goes, it's 77 degrees at 3 in the afternoon. I'm like, I hate you a little bit. But we'll see how much you like it here in about 2 months when you're in 3 feet of snow. We'll see. Yeah, she's got ducks, Dean. Cat has ducks. She's got a bunch of them. I hope they're all okay. I need to message her and make sure she's all right. I'm going to do that as soon as I get off of here. That was the whole point of this show in its beginning, right? It was just me sitting here alone chatting with you guys just to make sure that you were all okay and, had something to take your mind off stuff. Thank you, Callum, and your thoughts and prayers with everyone with the storm. That's a great comment. Thank you for that. I echo that sentiment. Definitely praying for everybody down in the storms. And of course, with the pandemic stuff, I don't want to talk about that because this is a distraction from that. But like, it just makes it even weirder when these kind of things happen. You can't do the stuff people tell you to do with the distancing and all that. Because it's like, and then you go to survival mode. So we know because we did the tornado thing here in Easter. And it was like, okay, all bets are off. Everybody's got to go to the store, hardware store, grocery store. Got to just get through it. Dr. Kelly's here. It's good to see you, Dr. Kelly. You may recall Dr. Carrie Kelly from The Second Sign, book 19 in the Sean Wyatt series. I love it, Michelle. I love Dr. Kelly. I've been calling her Dr. Kelly so much, I've actually forgotten if she's actually a doctor. Carrie, would you please remind me, do you have your PhD or MD or something? Like, I cannot remember now all of a sudden. or an ED, what is it? EDU, not EDU. The edu doctorate. My wife has one of those. It's right. She's the doctor in the house. But I'm the master because of the master's degree, not because I get to boss people around. Everybody's saying hi to Sam and Carrie. Awesome. Oh no. The comments flipped up again. Hey, it's the Sean Wyatt endgame, so build up is good. Well, it is sort of like an endgame, but it's not. It's more like the first Avengers movie. So it's not going to be... Tony Stark's not dying. I'm not going to kill Tony Stark. He's my favorite character. Some people on Reddit and some people out there in some of the forums and the Sean Wyatt and the Ernest Dempsey forums have been talking about how Dempsey created Dak Harper because he's about to kill off Sean Wyatt. And I'm like, okay, that's actually a pretty good theory. It's not true. I'm not killing off Sean yet. But no, it's, people have their theories, and I like that those theories are out there. So anyway, it's, but yeah, there's a lot of build up to it. How long does it take you to write a book? 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the length of the book and how much research is required. So I started this one 3 weeks ago, maybe. But it's been a little weird because, I was out of town. I was at the cabin with my brother. So I was only writing like 500 to 1,000 words a day. And even since then, I've not been getting my max output like I normally do. Like normally when I'm writing these, I'm trying to do 3,000 to 4,000, sometimes 5,000 words a day. And lately it's been like today, I think I did like 1,200 or 1,300. And yesterday it was close to 3,000. I'm getting back into pace. But usually it's a little slower when I'm starting a book because I'm still doing a lot of research. I try to front load the research. But there's a few hundred hours worth of research in these things. What I usually do is I'll put in about 40 to 60 hours of research up front before I write anything. And I'll sketch out ideas. I'll write out ideas and brainstorm, but I don't really dig into the drafting part of it yet. That I start doing that when I'm about 50 to 60 hours of research in, and then the research is ongoing as I continue to progress. So is the conference open to the public? It is not, because it's a writer conference and there's certain regulations for who gets to attend. But that doesn't mean that people can't, go meet up with other people outside the conference or at the the bar in the lobby. I don't know what their restrictions are going to be on that, but yeah, St. Pete Pier is new and beautiful. Okay. I don't see it from where I am there, but it's I don't see the downtown of St. Petersburg where that pier is. Well, I've been to it once, but maybe that's not where it is. That was a long time ago. I was down there at that pier. Good evening. I have a good evening from YouTube. If you write a book in Barcelona, it's hard to. True. That is true. The question I have is, for Barca, are they gonna fix things this off season? That's my question. For Barca, I call them Barca. Some people I hear in the South say Barca. I don't think that's right. Hello, Kathy. Hey, Kathy, I've got your box sitting here and I haven't shipped it out yet. And I got to get Valerie's ready too. I've got to have her box ready, and I've got to get 2 more prizes ready for the second sign launch. I've already got the winners. I've just got to notify them. I'm just way off pace right now. I got to get it on track. Dr. Kelly said it's okay. Tony Hillerman once put the San Francisco peaks on the wrong horizon. Okay. It's 105 in Dallas right now. Oh, you and Jason are cooking yourselves. Your and all but dissertation. Oh, so you're almost. Wait. ABD? Okay. You're glad Dak is back. Awesome. I'm glad you're glad, Kathy. I think people who live in a city see it different than someone just passing through, sort of like rose-colored glasses. Yeah, I think that's it. I think you're right. I think that's why it was that way with me. And I feel bad. Like I didn't say anything offensive. I actually described it beautifully. But I just described that particular spot incorrectly. So my bad. I went back and fixed it. That's the nice thing about my gig is I can like go in, fix, upload, problem solved. So, all right, let's see. Need to head to bed. Callum, have a good night. It's good to see you too, man. And thanks for the question. I appreciate it. I hope I answered adequately and didn't ramble like I did with Jason's too much. So, yeah. Anyway. Yes. Thank you. Up early in the morning. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's my life. Yesterday my daughter did a new one. Normally she comes in like, Daddy, Mommy told me to leave the room. And I'm like, okay, come lay down with me. I don't want to lay down. I want to play. And I'm like, it's okay. I guess it's time to get up. But yesterday she did the whole like jerk. She jerked my blanket off of me. And I was like, I snapped up. I was like, that's uncool. Please don't do that again. That's a terrible way to wake up. Somebody snatches your blanket from you. That wasn't good. Ask how I come up with the name of my characters. Are they based on anyone you know or want to be? Ooh, well, that's a great question. It's a little bit of all of what you just said. This is something that's been a secret, Jason, for a while, and I'm a little sketchy on releasing this one, but I might as well tell you. So I don't want to include too many of the same kind of names, that sort of stuff. I do base certain names on people I know, like friends, sort of. Usually I change things around a little. I'll take a first name with a different last name, or I'll just, find a random last name somewhere else, because you don't want to have like, you don't want people to be like running around saying, "Oh, that's me," necessarily, because I've heard of other authors getting in legal trouble for that. So you don't want that. But I'm not as worried about that kind of stuff because I know my friends and whatever. So I don't do a lot of that particular thing, but I do like one of the things that I get. Sorry, I was distracted by some of the comments. One of the places that I get the most names from is actually sports figures. So I'm a big soccer fan. So with a lot of the foreigners, like the foreign, like the allies and the villains, right? Sean's allies and villains, or Dak's allies and villains, or whatever. I use a lot of soccer players' names from Premier League or La Liga or some of those places, over there in Europe. And then I use some American names. Yeah, Kathy, don't mention it. So the but yeah, I sorry, I gotta handle that. But yeah, I that's how I do it. I come up with names looking at a lot of sports teams very often. One of the reasons that I chose Dak was, although I'm not a Cowboys fan, my mom grew up a Cowboys fan, and her parents were both big Cowboys fans. I kind of admire Dak Prescott, and that's a strange thing to say, but no problem, Kathy. It's cool. I'll explain. I'll send you a message here later about it. So but yeah, I don't know what it is about Dak Prescott. I like the way he carries himself. Um, that sort of thing. I like the way that I like his professionalism. I like the way he plays. And so, that's why I chose the name with Dak Harper, is because I really admire Dak Prescott. And, he just goes about his business and he does his thing. So you're welcome, Kathy. No problem. Yeah, about Barca, things can get a little messy. That's a great comment. Those of you following along on YouTube, that's funny. Thank you for that one. That's a good dad joke. Man, I would love to come visit that city at some point. I've heard it's beautiful and the people are awesome, and obviously the food is great. And by the way, coming back to Dak Prescott, I'm a big Falcons fan. I mean, I'm a Falcons season ticket holder. I've been an Atlanta Falcons fan my whole life. And I also really like the Seattle Seahawks a lot. But the quarterbacks that have come through Dallas, and everybody makes fun of Tony Romo and all that. I didn't mind him either. I think he's an interesting guy. And Troy Aikman obviously was, from my little cheap seat view, he was a class act and a cool cat. Danny White, going all the way back to Staubach. Roger Staubach was amazing. They've had a history of great quarterbacks, good leaders there. And I feel like Dak Prescott fits that mold that the Dallas Cowboys franchise has established, all those years. And again, I'm not a Cowboys fan. My buddy Greg is up in Idaho, but look, you say, that guy's a good leader. And so that's why I chose the name Dak for him. For some of the others, it was just friends or other sports figures, stuff like that. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question. Like Will, for example, in the Relic Runner origin story, Will is based on a friend of mine. It's actually based on two friends of mine. I took one friend's last name and one friend's first name. So, will we ever get an Ernest Dempsey short story collection? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that one, Jonathan? Like a collection of all the short stories I've ever written so far, or you want me to write a bunch of short stories? Because like the Relic Runner origin was all short, like serial short stories. But do you want short stories that are self-contained stories? So like a 75 to 105 page story that is bookended, like get a beginning and an end, and you can read it in self-contained, and you don't have to, it's not a serial. Is that what you mean? You want me to do something like that? Because I'm doing it right now. That's the other project I'm working on. Kathy, you asked what I'm working on right now. I'm working on the pipeline. Book 20, Sean Wyatt series, is the Milestone Protocol. So I might be a third of the way done with that one. And then with the, I'm also working on a Sean Wyatt story from his years in the Axis agency. So the first mission, he's taken out some gunmen, some arms dealers. And then I'm also going to be doing oral stories on YouTube with some of these Sean Wyatt Axis agency stories. And the plan is to eventually get around to doing some with Adriana as well, based on the time frame before she met Sean. So I just need like 4 more hours in the day and the energy to utilize those hours. Because I get like I'm working as fast as I can. I'm doing all the things I have to do to run this, and then before I know it, it's like 4 o'clock and my mom's leaving and I'm back on daddy duty. And so it's surprisingly Surprising how fast the days go when you're doing a job that you love, but is also very demanding. There's a lot to do. I hope I answered your question, Jonathan. I don't know if I did. When you plan a novel, do you figure out the end first and work your way towards the start, or start from the beginning and have a vague idea on the finale? A little bit of both. Usually I try to know what's going to happen at the end, like at least a vague idea, so that when you start off on a trip, right, driving somewhere, you need to know where you're going before you get there, unless the point is the journey. When you're just driving and you're just going to drive everywhere you want to go, like a Neil Gaiman book, like that, like kind of goes wherever it wants to go. So, yeah, you're right, Marva. I do need a personal assistant. If I can work that into the budget, I would do it. It would be cool to have my wife as my personal assistant, but I don't think that's her gig. She wants to, if she quits her job, she wants to homeschool my kid, which we're already doing. We're already homeschooling her some, or mostly. My wife and my mom split time doing that. My wife works 3 days a week, so too much info. What about the book you wrote? Oh, Chasing Comets. Yeah, so Chasing Comets is the one. I mean, it's still fiction, right? But it's sort of like a non-fiction-y style book. That's one of those that's, it's a little book about a powerful way to live or something. It was a few years ago. My dad's actually referenced that story in some of his sermons, which is really funny. I'm like, don't tell people that don't use my, I mean, you can use my book in your sermon or whatever, but don't tell people your son writes these kind of books, because that's the only one like it. And then they're going to go buy another book like Secret of the Stones, and like a professor gets murdered in the first scene. his flock's going to freak out. That's not true. I get emails from pastors all the time, actually, that like my stories. And they always say, thanks for not swearing or using sex in your books. I'm like, okay, no problem. Makes me uncomfortable to think about my mom reading me writing stuff like that. You're curious, are you a laptop in a coffee house writer, a home office writer, or oh yeah, that's a great question. You're asking a lot of good questions for a first-time person. Some of these I have not had yet. So all three, but I do best at home. If I'm at a coffee house, I get pretty distracted looking around, like I have bad attention deficit. And so, but I can sit down anywhere. Sometimes I sit on the back porch if it's nice out, and I'll work out there for a little bit. That's my favorite. I love this house, but that's the one thing I miss about our old house is it was a screened in back porch. So, roof, I could sit under it in the rain and there's no bugs getting in. Here we don't have it screened in, so there's bugs, and so I can't really sit out there very long. But most of the time I'm sitting here in this room working. Occasionally I'll sit downstairs. I like to start off my day sitting at the kitchen counter working, and then when if I can get down there before my kid wakes up, I try to get out like 30 minutes of work before she wakes up, because then once she wakes up, it's all like Nintendo Switch until school starts. Valerie, oh, I'm so glad you're here. Valerie, send me a message. I need to get your address. Maybe you already sent it, but send me your address again, because I've got a box here for you and Kathy. I got to send you your prizes, and I don't want to forget to send them. I will try so hard to get them out here in the next 2 or 3 days. So I'm glad you're here. Oh, Kathy, I'm glad you like Chasing Comets. You were impressed and moved by that. Well, that's very cool. I'm glad you liked it. You too, Marva. That's very cool. Yeah, it's not one of my, I don't sell a whole lot of that book. And I guess people must look through my Amazon page they must look through the Amazon, author page or whatever, and happen to see it, but I don't promote it very much. it's kind of hard to promote it because it's by itself and it's a little different than what I normally do. But some would say it's off-brand, so that's accurate. But yeah, I'm glad you guys liked that story. I enjoyed writing it. It was cool, and I felt like it was an empowering thing. I have not received like any mean emails about it, so like that's the most ridiculous, hokey thing I've ever read in my life. All right, well, we've been here like an hour, and I better get going, go play with my kid for a little bit. I am going to do coffee at the Dempsey's Sunday morning at 8-ish, I think. 8:30-ish. Just kind of watch, or I don't know when I'm going to do it. I'll try to do it at 8 so that I can get in a good 30 minutes with you guys, hopefully before the kid wakes up. You need a bag. When are we going to be able to buy them? I know, that's the thing. I need a personal assistant. My friend Shane Silver's urban fantasy writer, he has a guy that like does all that stuff. He like handles the merchandise and he gets into the group. He manages the Facebook group thing, you know, like my IA field division. If you're not a member of that, Jason, by the way, I know most of you guys are members of the IA field division. If you're not, go to the fan page and there's should be like over here or there or something. There's groups. You click on it, join that group. And there's some really cool fans in there that share lots of good information all the time, sharing cool articles and things like that. So, oh yes, before the train hits. Yes. Good point, Michelle. Silly train. That's 5 a.m. I know, Kathy, you can't wake up then. Just watch the replay. It's no big deal. But this week will be sponsored by Life Boost Coffee, unofficially sponsored. Life Boost Coffee is a low acid alkaline sort of coffee that, you know, people say stuff like that. And they're like, oh, we found this special farm that has this coffee that just is better for you. And like, yeah, I don't know if I believe that, but I'm still going to buy it because I'm like always willing to give something a pull, right? Like I'm ready to give it a try. Well, good news. It is extremely smooth and it is good. Is it better than Phil's coffee? Flavor-wise, it's on level ground to a lot of Phil's stuff and Black Rifle Coffee Company stuff. It's on the same footing, but it's smoother. So now what I do is I blend a little bit of it with Phil's. Joni, it's so good to see you. I think I saw a comment from you earlier, and I think I scrolled past it. I'm sorry for that. But thank you for joining us. I always try to make sure I get to everybody. So, yeah, anyway, I'll be doing coffee Sunday morning. I might even be doing a very special coffee treat that I made this afternoon that blew my wife's mind. And I'll share it with you Sunday morning. It's not my invention. I just discovered it. It's apparently the hottest new thing, or the coolest, as it were. You guys have a wonderful night, a great weekend. I will see some of you Sunday morning. And for those of you who are not live with us on Sunday morning, I'll see you on the replay. You guys be safe out there. Have a good evening. And thanks for joining me here for an hour of me rambling with you. But I love all of your questions, and I'm so glad to see all you guys are doing okay. So have a good one, and I will see you Sunday morning.